What's up, guys? This is Xander Bennett from Rare Candy here with a testing grounds video featuring myself and my friend Nick Brassel. Just some two new decks from Lost Thunder here. I am playing the Zeraora deck that was suggested by some patrons, and Nick Brassel is playing Sceptile Ninetales, which is another deck suggested by them. So if you're interested in doing, letting us know some decks that you want us to be doing on the channel, check out our Patreon, and our upper level patrons are able to do some suggestions with us, though. So we're going to start off pretty quick. We're both drawing our 7 cards, and I'm going to apologize in advance. We recorded this at our college just to make life a little bit easier for us because we were both already there instead of us having to go to my home whenever we normally record. But the place that I thought would be better ended up having a little bit worse. So I'm going to help talk you guys through some glare that's primarily on my side. It might also just be the sleeves that I use. They're just a little bit glossier. Definitely will pick up some better sleeves if we're going to continue recording here, and that's my fault for not really thinking about that. And yeah, you can see it there already. So took a mulligan, and then I drew for turn, but I forgot he did win the coin flip, so he's going to draw, and he's looking for that turn 1 Elm, and we're going to see if he gets it here. He does have the Lele, but look at his hand. His hand is really not that great, and he just kind of has to go for the Cynthia. There's a Nest Ball first, though, just to search his deck for a basic Pokemon, put it into play. He can either get a Trico here or a Vulpix, and if I'm him, I'm probably thinking a Trico. So there he is. He slams it down, and then he's going to attach return. He has a Choice Band he can maybe attach, but no, he's just going to hold it and then play the Cynthia, shuffling his hand into his deck and drawing 6 cards. Really not the start that he wants to have with this deck. Really wants to be getting that turn 1 Elm, but we are only playing 2 Elm in this list, and so just a lower count can't always guarantee that we have it, and because he didn't have another supporter, that Lele had to go for something else. So this hand looks pretty good that he has. He has a Net Ball and also an Ultra Ball, so that'll let him get some more Pokemon if he needs to. But for now, he just passes and sends it over to me. My hand looks pretty fire, though, when I'm looking at it. Ultra Ball discarding a Zeraora and a Electropower. Gonna search through my deck. I saw a Lily in my hand, so it's not gonna be for a Tapu Lele GX. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the Shuckle, but I don't think I'm going to bench it yet because no. Oh yeah, and then I changed what I discard because it's obviously better for me to discard this Lightning Energy just so I can get more energies into the discard pile to use with my GX attack to put all those energies into play. So that was an interesting choice. I know that I'm gonna kind of speed over things a little bit, but because I didn't have a supporter to follow up after the Lily, I just wanted to guarantee that I had something. And I'm gonna Lily here for 4 cards. I could have played down the Shuckle, but I needed to hit an energy to even use the GX attack, and I didn't want to put 3 energies out of my deck before I was trying to draw cards. So that's the reason I held on to the Shuckle there, and I think that's definitely something that people should keep in mind, just so that they are not taking outs out of their deck. But this looks like it's going to be a full GX attack for 5 energies into play, and I totally believe that I forget to get a GX marker. Looks like I'm going to play this Acrobike first, just seeing if there's anything else that I want to get. Gonna discard the Ultra Ball and keep the Choice Band. Just pretty content with my board, and that's gonna be my GX marker, just an energy that we flipped over just to symbolize that that's what we're doing. And I guess I do take back whatever I discard off the Acrobike. So sorry, like I said, this is testing grounds. This isn't perfect grounds. We're still trying to figure out exactly what the best lines of play for us are going to be during these videos. So I Ultra Ball, discarding the Lily and the Volkner, and now I'm going to use the attack, put these 5 energies into play. Definitely think this is better than just putting them on the 2 Pokemon because it allows me to spread them out just whenever I need them, and bam, look at that, 6 energies in play on the first turn, and this is definitely something that this deck can do pretty frequently. It's a lot of the strength of the deck just being able to flood the board so quick. So now we go back to Nick's turn. Nick is going to Ultra Ball. Sorry about the glare on my bench. That's the Zeraora with 1 energy on it and the Shuckle. He's Ultra Balling, thinking about what he wants to get. This is his first time playing the decks, but I've solitaired them a little bit beforehand. He's going to go get a Grovyle and then play a Net Ball to search the deck for a Trico, put that into play. And then it looks like a Copycat. This Copycat's for 3. If you watch the deck profiles, I talk a little bit about this card, but I don't think it's going to stay in the final list. If this was a Lily, he would definitely have had a better time with this hand and probably this game overall. But this Copycat here is going to have him draw 3 cards. Just hope that he can get something off of it. Worst case scenario, he does have that Find a Friend attack on the Trico, but it looks like he hit a Vulpix, so he's just going to retreat and he's going to use Beacon, getting himself 2 Pokemon, and this works out really well for what he is trying to do. I think he might have forgot to use Sunshine Grace. I don't remember him using that. I don't know if that's actually the name that we have. The first time this card was printed on a Sunflora, the same effect, it was Sunshine Grace, I'm pretty sure. So there's a Cynthia, putting out that marker just to symbolize that I have used my supporter, and I'm going to be drawing 6 cards. It looks like I'm going to be taking a pretty easy first prize here for this match, just on this Vulpix. With a energy, though, which is kind of a bummer. This deck needs to keep hitting attachments, so I think I might increase the energy count in it. But it looks like there's a Choice Band and a Counter Gain on my bench Pokemon so far, and then going to use that main attack for 160 damage and knock out the Grovyle. So there's the evolve into a Sceptile, but he forgot to use the ability, so I tell him go back, get your Grovyle first, and then evolve it, just so that he still has that powerful effect in play whenever he needs to. So there's the Cynthia. Going to shovel his hand into his deck and draw 6 cards. Don't know exactly what he's doing, but just shuffling up here. We're going to see what he gets off of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he did hit an Energy and a Ditto Prism, so those seem to be a pretty good 6 cards that he got off of this. The Ditto Prism will allow him access to a extra Sceptile if he needs it, but also just turn into the Alolan Ninetales for whenever he doesn't. And then he'll hit me with the Mach Cut attack to do 60, and then discard a Special Energy, but I do not have a Special Energy attached to my Pokemon. So, looking at what I want to do, I don't really want to leave this active because he could attach a Grass Energy and knock me out. So I'm going to use Arrow Trail and just move all the energy off of this Zeraora onto this Tapu Koko, and then play a Cynthia. So this is going to allow me to have this 2-shot war with the Sceptile deck, and hopefully my plan is to run him out of max potions and eventually just be able to take over his board. Either that or use some Guzma knockouts on some of his bench Lele's, because he sadly had to put 2 of them down this game. So I draw my 6 cards. There's the last Agrabike and also the Aether Paradise Conservation Area, which is a very good card in this matchup, just trying to mess up the stadiums that the damage that he can do onto my Pokemon. So if that wasn't in play, he could attach a Choice Band and evolve that Ditto Prism into Lurantis and knock me out. But because of the math from Aether Paradise is going to matter a lot. I don't think that Sceptile should play any more stadiums, so I don't think this is just a flaw of the deck, but I think this actually works out pretty well. So there's a rare candy from the Grovyle into a Sceptile, and next turn he's actually going to be live for Super Boost Energy, which is just something to keep in mind, that this deck is super able and easy to do just because of the consistency brought from Grovyle, and eventually this Ditto can turn into a Ninetales also whenever it need be done. So he's going to draw his 6 cards. He drew a Ultra Ball, a Max Potion, and a Grass off of this, so that looks pretty good for him right now, just to be able to play the Ultra Ball, to play the Max Potion, put the Grass Energy down, and then use the Mach Cut attack, but only for a sad 30 because of the Aether Paradise. So in order for him to take a knockout with Leaf Cyclone, he's going to need a Choice Band and a Stadium, which is a really big bummer for him, just that I'm able to put this pressure on. There's the last Acrobike, discarding an Electropower, and I'm going to play the Nest Ball, probably getting the Vulpix here just so I have access to a Alolan Ninetales GX in the future. My plan was to take a huge knockout on one of these Sceptiles with a combination of Kukui and Electropowers, and so that's kind of the goal. And even though I have Alolan Ninetales in this hand, it's just better for me to Cynthia and keep drawing some cards, get some more attachments down. This deck really needs an energy a turn. So there's my full bench if you want to take a look at it while there's no glare on it. This is Zeraora with a 60 and a counter gain, Zeraora with 2 energies and a choice, a Zeraora with 2 energies and a counter gain, Shuckle, and the Vulpix. Look at my hand with an energy again, but I'm just going to let him have to hit that combination of cards to take the knockout on me and do Sky High Claws for 130 damage. So he has the Alolan Ninetales GX in his hand, and this looks like a pretty good time to use it. He's going to use Sunshine Grace to get a Pokemon, but it looks like he prized his other Sceptile and his Sceptile GX. He does have the Super Boost Energy in his deck, which is important to keep in mind. But he's going to grab the Lurantis just to maybe do some more relevant map. But no, it just looks like to be thinning out his deck. And then here is the Alolan Ninetales GX. Probably going to be wanting to get a Max Potion and a way to get an energy in his hand if he doesn't have it. Talking a little bit over about what we should be doing here. But it looks like it's probably going to be a Max Potion. Yeah, so he was considering putting down the Lurantis But I was saying, no, he's still not going to knock me out because of the stadium, and he doesn't really have any way to search for the stadium. So he's just going to get a nest ball or a net ball to get that grass energy into his hand, and then play the max potion, discarding all of his energies, attach to his active, resetting the Pokemon, and bam, there's a fresh 230 HP Sceptile that's only going to be doing 30 damage again because of the stadium that just keeps messing up what he's doing. The stadium is very good in matchups where they aren't able to get rid of it, and with lower counts of Field Blower, I think this card is going to see a little bit more play probably coming up this next year. So I'm going to play my copy of Alolan Ninetales GX and immediately get 2 Electric Powers and put them into my hand. So it looks like I am taking a big knockout here. I sadly have to bump my own my own Aether Paradise with my Thunder Mountain. Gonna put that Stadium Play marker out, play both those Electric Powers, so my attacks are going to be doing 60 more damage. And then because of the Thunder Mountain, I don't have to attach another energy to the Zeraora to use this attack. So because of the Choice Band and the 2 Electric Powers, I'm able to get the knockout on the Sceptile. I have a Cynthia and a Lily, but I choose to play the Lily just because it's probably not going to have much more draws later on, and even though I'm only drawing 2 cards, I'll be able to have my Cynthia for next turn, just trying to hit an energy. So that's a huge knockout that I was able to take on this Zeraora, putting me down to 3 prizes, or sorry, not on the Zeraora, on the Sceptile with my Zeraora. And he's a little bit stuck. His hand looks pretty dead. He has no more Lele's in his hand. I think he might just have to sadly pass here. He has an Ultra Ball, discarding a Lurantis, and a Timer Ball. No, yeah, Timer Ball. Don't really know what he's looking for here. Probably just the Alolan Vulpix to put it down. Maybe gives himself some more plays with the Ninetales on his next turn. No reason not to. He's played both of his max potions though, and this is just going to be a fail. So maybe the other copy of Alolan Ninetales is fine. Or is prized. Just him shuffling. Benches a Trico and passes. So I'm going to draw an Ultra Ball, but I don't know how relevant that'll be. Just as a way to maybe get rid of some extra cards in my hand. That looks like what it's going to be played for. Discarding the Raikou and the Nest Ball. I'm not really going to need either of those cards anymore. I have only a Tapu Lele in my deck, but I think I still get it just because... Nope. Well, I have a Tapu Lele in my hand anyway. So I don't get that. This is just to thin out some cards in my deck. My deck is super small at this point, but between the Acrobikes and the Shuckle, just discarding cards super quick. A pretty solid option to have. And then I'm going to be retreating into this Tapu Koko. The only way that he can knock me out this turn is with a Super Boost combo. And I'm going to Ultra Ball, discarding the rest of the cards in my hand, I believe, and then play a Cynthia, making sure I don't deck out in the process. So my logic here is that he's out of max potions, so I'll be able to knock out this Sceptile and then either Guzma to knock out one of his GXs on the bench, or just one of the non-GX Pokemon, and that'll somewhere add up to 6. But I have 2 cards left in my deck, which is definitely enough time for me to do this play, and then I'll use Sky High Claws for 130 damage onto this Sceptile. Or 140. Damage is hard. So it'll be... It should be 6. It should be 140. But I don't think this ends up mattering because of the Choice Band. Looks at his hand, sees that there's nothing that relevant. He just passes, so kind of stuck on a dead hand here. I'm just able to use Sky High Claws for the knockout, and then on my next turn I have a Guzma for any of his bench Pokemon. So I think this game is going to definitely end up in the favor of me. Yeah, his draw here is just a rare candy. It doesn't really give him anything, and then he just passes and concedes. So on to game 2. Nick's definitely going to be looking for that Elm to help him set up. Just a very important card to get so many of his basics down so early. And then me, I'm going to be looking for kind of the same thing. So here we're moving on to game 2. Eric using the magic of video editing to skip around. And just going to see what is happening here. Going to each draw our 6 cards. And Nick's hand looks... Oh, okay, he has a mulligan. But that would look pretty good if he didn't have the mulligan. I have a Tapu Koko, and I think the Shuckle is in my hand too. So neither of which are really that optimal for me to have. But we will manage either way. So bench that. I'm going to take another mulligan. I have that GX marker out and ready to go that we so kindly drew up. Part of doing this at college, I knew I was forgetting something, and I guess the GX marker was the thing that I was forgetting. But there's a second mulligan for him. Either it was a mulligan or his hand was so bad that we said just shuffle it back in. We don't have time to play really bad games for content creation. We were playing with a little bit of a time constraint. We both had some stuff to do, which I think will come up a little bit more in Game 3. We'll mention something that happens that we changed a little bit because of a time constraint. So, just another mulligan. Nick's not hitting the Pokemon that he needs. This deck doesn't play a ton of basic Pokemon. It plays the 4 Trico, the 2 Vulpix, so that's 6, 2 Tapu Lele, 8, and then the Ditto, 9. There's got to be something else I'm forgetting, though, because that does feel insanely low. Maybe it's right. Oh, well. 9 basics, yeah, that's really low for any deck. Okay, and this hand looks pretty solid. He has an Ultra Ball and what looked like an out to the supporter. So we're going to see a draw. There's a Sceptile. And, oh, and he has an Elm already, so this hand's phenomenal. Just showing the power that having this card raw in your hand without having to use a Ultra Ball or a Tapu Lele to bench it. This deck doesn't care that much about its bench space, but it cares enough that you'd rather not have the Lele on your bench than have it. Looking at his hand, seeing what he has. He has a Timer Ball and an Ultra Ball already, as well as a Sceptile, so he has some really good options for what he wants to do. But it looks like it's going to be a Vulpix, a Trico, and a Trico. We have a conversation here about whether or not we think getting Alolan Ditto is worth it. Or not Alolan Ditto, just normal Ditto. And the answer that we decided on was no, because we care more about the options in the late game when we can just get our normal Pokemon earlier on. So, play a Stadium, play a energy onto my Tapu Koko, and then I'm going to use the ability on Shuckle to discard 3 energies out of my deck. Normally, like I said, this would kind of be better if... oh, okay. So what I do here, this is... I kind of said that you shouldn't really make plays around Thunder Mountain in the deck profile, but Cynthia here, I'm not playing the Aether Paradise because it's not going to matter on this turn, so not really a huge deal. He's not going to be able to knock me out either way because he doesn't have his out to the Lurantis in the form of Ditto Prism. But if I draw the Thunder Mountain Prism Star, I still can use the big Nitro Tank-like attack that I keep drawing a blank on what it's called. But there's an Ultra Ball discarding a Lightning Energy and another Ultra Ball. I'm going to get a Zeraora here, and I believe that if I Acrobike into this Thunder Mountain Prism Star, I may use this attack to get 4 cards. Let's see what I do. How good am I? Just get a Lightning and a Lily, and I'm not that good. So just going to pass this turn with a pretty solid board. Getting the Vulpix down early is very nice. It is blurred right now because of the glare, which I apologize about. There's a Timer Ball, and Nick flips Double Tails because, yeah, I think, or no. Oh, well. He might have gotten ahead with the one that was kind of off the camera, or we just said get something just because of the limited amount of time. In a tournament, obviously, you're not able to do that, but just because we were in a time constraint, if it was Double Tails, I couldn't really tell what that upper number was. It's been a while since we've played these games. But he gets his 1 heads, probably getting a Alolan Ninetales because he's searching for other item cards and what he wants to get here. So yeah, there's the Alolan Ninetales. Going to use an ability, search his deck for 2 item cards, put them into his hand, and he has a plethora of options that he may get. So we see a Nest Ball and a Net Ball. Finally got those right. Going to play the Nest Ball for the Ditto Prism. Going to play the Net Ball for the energy on the active. So he's used his attachment for the turn. Has not played a supporter already. And then we're going to see a Rare Candy into a Sceptile. And then just a Leaf Cyclone. So no out to a supporter. Or at least he had the Ultra Ball, but he cared more about his setup than the draw supporter. He can still just Ultra Ball for a supporter on his next turn. Cares more about the cards in his hand. And he does have the Rare Candy, which I saw. So there's the Lily. And I do draw the Thunder Mountain Prism Star, which is really relevant because I don't have any energies in my hand to be able to use this GX attack. So I put down the wrong stadium on accident. There's the Thunder Mountain. And then just going to retreat and use it because of the effect that says that I may use it, even though I do not have a any lightning energies on it because it costs 1 lightning. I'm able to do this. So this is actually kind of difficult. I have 5 energies in here, but my board is really ugly. I have a Vulpix that I can't really attack with a Ninetales. I have a Shuckle that I'm not attacking with at all, and then I have a damaged Tapu Koko. So I put 3 energy on the active and say if he's going to knock out one of my bench Pokemon to get rid of an energy in a deck full of GX attackers, that's completely fine with me. So he's going to draw for turn. He still has a very good setup here, and my setup is not that great. Because one of my Tapu Kokos is already on the board with damage on it, I don't really have that out to that kind of fake max potion effect that really matters in this matchup where he's going to have so many healing cards. Or at least 2 of them plus just having huge HP anyway. So looking at his hand, he has a Ultra Ball, but he has to discard Life Force Prism Star, which is really important because that's the only stadium in his deck. So that means that as long as I want to keep that Thunder Mountain in play, I can keep that in play for the whole game. And so there's a Tapu Lele for the Cynthia, going to net ball beforehand just to get that energy down and then throw down that Cynthia and draw 6 cards. But it is a very big deal he has to discard this Life Force Prism Star. In the end, he kind of has to do it because all the cards in his hand were pretty important. But just being able to make it so that I don't have to attach another energy to use all of my attacks for the rest of the game. That's going to be a really big way for me to come back into it, especially because I didn't really get the effect of the GX attack that I so wanted to have. But there we see a Grovyle, going to search his deck for a Sceptile. Probably going to be a rare candy in his feature somewhere. Bam, there you go. He also has a Choice Band in his hand. Probably just going to throw it down just because the math doesn't really matter unless he has other plans to Ultra Ball it away. And there's a Leaf Cyclone. Going to put the energy onto the Grovyle because, I think he's deciding whether or not he wants to put it onto the Grovyle or the Sceptile. He puts it onto the Sceptile because that's probably going to be the next attacker since he doesn't have an out to an energy in his hand. So there is a Lele of my own. Now getting my own Cynthia, going to attach to the Lele and then play this Cynthia, shuffle in, and draw 6 cards. So I could knock out this Sceptile here with a Ninetales and some other cards that allow me additional damage. If I get one copy of a Choice Band or Electric Power in my hand and an out to Ninetales, this Pokemon is going to be knocked out. Let's see what I get off of these 6 cards. There's an Ultra Ball as a counter gain. I'm going to have to see what direction this Acrobike takes me in, because I don't think I really have an out to it. I'm going to Ultra Ball, actually discarding the Acrobike and the Guzma, probably for a Tapu Koko here, just realizing that I need to heal this Pokemon. I'm not going to be able to take this big knockout like I want to. I got to have a game plan afterwards. Now the real question is whether or not I move the energies off of the other Pokemon or the attacker, and I believe I just have to move them off of all the other Pokemon. Move them off of there, and then the last one don't even have to move because of the Thunder Mountain Prism Star. So the card already showing its worth, but I decide to move it anyway. Probably should not have done that. I don't think it is going to matter over the course of this game, but if at any point Energy Drive would have given me a knockout, someone say something in the comments, because I think that's wrong, because Thunder Mountain Prism Star gives me that effect anyway. So he plays down something, or no, maybe he's just using the ability on Grovyle. It was all very quick, and I was talking about something completely unrelated to what he was doing. I believe he's looking through his... Okay, so there he goes. There he's a third Sceptile that's good, and the point that we're talking about right now is whether or not he wants to get the Grovyle off of the Grovyle, because he cannot Ultra Ball. He cannot Rare Candy into a Sceptile this Ditto. But I believe he's saving it for a Ninetales, which I also agree with. That was just a conversation we were having to try and figure out what was optimal. There's a Cynthia. So many Cynthias, just shuffling, drawing 6 cards. Both decks playing 4 of the very powerful card. He gets a Choice Band and a... Choice Band, some other cards. So Sceptile does have 1 retreat, but because he was playing the max potion, he just didn't discard the energy yet. But he did have to pay the energy to retreat, and then he used Leaf Cyclone for 160. And the attack is a May. You do not have to discard the energy, you may move it. So he chose to keep it on the active. Probably just shows that he doesn't have an out to an energy in his hand. And I'm just going to use Sky High Claws just for a 130. Because he has the 2 energy on there, it makes max potion a lot more punishing. And I just don't really have a board anyway. Oh, maybe he does have to move it. Or no, I think... Oh, okay, so he chose to move it in hindsight because he knew he was going to take a hit, and there was no reason for him not to. So he's going to Ninetales and probably get a out to a max potion here. And this is the point that this deck starts to be really strong, where we both still have 6 prizes, and he's just able to out-heal me and outpace me for the rest of the game. It doesn't matter if I'm not taking 1 shot, or if I'm only doing 2 shots, if he can just heal them, and I don't have any healing methods on my board. And I already have 3 GXs that have damage to be knocked out by one of his simple mock cuts. So there's the, he plays the max potion after retreating, does the same thing as last time, and then going to use the energy recycle system, and I believe that he shuffles the energy in here, but no, he just puts it into his hand and attaches it onto the then Sceptile GX, and he's got this really great loop going on, and he's going to leave the energy onto the active and take his 2 prizes. Because he's out of max potions, the energy just doesn't matter really where it goes. So I'm going to be able to use Zeraora and attack for 1 energy with the counter gain. I kind of sat on this hand for a while just because I knew this was going to be something that he was going to be able to do. And if I get the Ninetales combo, this could be a dead Sceptile. That would be hilarious. No, I would need triple electric power, which would be absurd because of the counter gain. Let's see what I get here. So definitely am not getting it with that hand that I just drew. But at least I'm able to put some damage onto the Sceptile on the board. Going to retreat for free because of the ability on Zeraora GX. And then I can just do a flat 160. Will not be able to attack next turn, but it's fine because of the retreating ability. And I also see a Guzma in my hand along with a Choice Band and a counter gain. So this is an Elm just for value because he doesn't really need to do much with his hand, or he doesn't have a draw supporter, just kind of thinning that card out, getting the Volvix out. Going to start about whether or not he wants to retreat into this one. I think he does, and he has Super Boost in his hand, so that is super awesome for him. Because he has these 3 stage 2s in play, like I said, very easy to do. He is able to attack for 4 energy and use Leaf Cycle and just move this Super Boost, put him onto the Sceptile with the damage on it. Doesn't really matter. It hit me for a really big 130. Just again, keeping the pressure up on my board. And once again, with 4 prizes left and 3 GXs that have damage on them, I think Nick's going to be able to close out this game super easily. Between a series of me, or between this game of me struggling a little bit with what I'm able to draw and whatnot, I think that this worked out as best for me as it could. So I'm playing the Guzma, deciding what I want to do here. Nope, take back the Guzma. The Choice Band, Electropower, Cynthia. So, okay. So if I hit another Electropower, I knock out this Sceptile, which is pretty important. It's not really a winning play, but I need to do something just so that I can start taking prizes. I'm going to draw my 6 cards. Do I draw it out to another Electropower? I do. Yep, the last card, so that's going to be good enough to allow me to take this knockout. But this is still not a winning line. I'm still losing this game. Just at 4 prizes, he's going to have a really easy knockout here. Super Boost is officially not live anymore. It still counts as a Grass Energy because it's attached to a Stage 2, but he does not have the ability to attack with just the Super Boost energy. But I don't think it's going to matter because he's just going to take the 2 prizes here and then just draw into a Guzma for his next turn anyway. Gonna go ahead and throw down that Rico and the Choice Band and then play another Cynthia. This is definitely more of how Nick wanted this game to go. He got the Elm that he needed, able to draw enough cards. He also has a rare candy in the Sceptile, the non-GX Sceptile in his hand, that he can turn on, Super Boost back again. Also matters because the attack that Sceptile has does damage for each energy that you have in play, so Super Boost counting for 4 energy, a pretty big deal there. So I have a counter gain and an energy on the Tapu Lele GX, so I can Guzma and take a knockout on the Super Boost Energy Sceptile, even though it doesn't count as the quadruple energy right now. I'm able to do 80, which plus the 160 on it is going to be an exact knockout. And I just have to phase a turn of not losing the game at this point. I play the Nest Ball and I fail it. And then I have... Didn't look like a whole lot of stuff in my hand, but the counter gain definitely is bringing me back into this game. We're both at 2 prizes, and if he just shows me a Guzma, he wins. Okay, but there's a Lele. And yep, there it is. Throws it onto the table. And we are on to game 3. That game was definitely more of what he wanted. Wasn't really what I was anticipating for. And now again, the magic of Eric Smith. We are phenomenally on game 3. So it's going to be shuffling up. I believe that he goes first on accident in this game, just thinking back through what happened. Didn't mean for it to happen, but I mean, it's totally cool. We're just playing, having a good time, and definitely wasn't even something that we thought about until like the middle of the game. Takes another mulligan. Man, Nick has mulliganed every single game in this series. I think this is where... okay, I think I make another GX marker at this point. But we'll get started as soon as possible. Yeah, there it is. Okay, there's a GX marker. So I think something must have happened with the other one. Been a while since we've done this. So I take my mulligan, and we both flip over. I start with a Zeraora, he starts with a Rico. His hand looks alright, but I think he's just going to have to play a Cynthia again. That's not really what he wants. He wants that Elm, and he's just not able to get it. So definitely a higher count of Elm could be considered for this deck just because it's so ridiculously important for you to get your Pokemon out. Without Zoroark to kind of fall back on your turn 2, if you draw into it, you can just start getting going. He kind of is in a sticky spot. But there's a Vulpix, and he has an Ultra Ball as well, so that's going to get him out to a Tapu Lele, and he's just going to sit on it for the next turn. So I draw, attach a Choice Band, I have the Aether Paradise Conservation Area, and then I'm just going to play a Cynthia of my own. Draw my own 6 cards. Gonna see what we get off of this, but obviously like an energy and then probably a way to just get some more Pokemon out, and that looked pretty good. That was 3 energies and an Ultra Ball, so that was kind of all that I could have asked for, just being able to get these extra energies in the discard pile. So I have the choice here of getting a Shuckle and then just using this this GX attack to put 5 energies into play off of it, and I think it's actually correct. I know that I'm not getting knocked out here just because of the damage cap that he's able to do, and because of things like Tapu Koko, I can move the energies however I want. So yeah, go ahead and do it. Turn 1 of the game again. Shuckle, just a huge enabler for being able to do it. And I tried this. I'm discussing whether or not I want to put the energies onto the active or onto the Shuckle, and I think I put them onto the Shuckle in the end, but it's probably better to put them on the active. Oh no, the reason that I put them onto the bench Shuckle is because if he somehow is able to Guzma the Shuckle and bring it active, he can't knock it out because of the Aether Paradise Conservation Area, because it also reduces the damage on the basic grass Pokemon. So even if he had Rare Candy Sceptile, Guzma Energy, he would also need Life Force on top of that, and then he's not playing a draw supporter for his turn to get rid of 3 energies. So that's why I put the energies on the Shuckle. There's his Ultra Ball. Deciding what he's going to get here. I don't think it is Tapu Lele, though. Yes, he's going to get the Ninetales, and it looks like what he's going to do is get an out to a Pokemon and then a card that he doesn't care about, and then Ultra Ball for the Lele and get some stuff going. So yeah, there's a Timer Ball and a Nest Ball. I'm going to clear up that board a little bit. There's the Nest Ball for the Trico. Doesn't want to get the Net Ball because of the... he wants to be able to save that for a grass. And then the Timer Ball, this is where we decide to just let him get a card, because Nick's bad at rolling dice, and we were in a hurry. And this game would have been super bad if he would not have hit tails on those. So sorry about that if you're a big rule stickler. I know that that's definitely not right, but we're talking about whether or not we should do it. And I've seen his deck, so I just go ahead and look through it and say, yes, just go ahead and do it. We were in a little bit of a hurry, but we wanted to get this content out for you guys. We were also just really excited to play. But there is the... mock cut for 60, and I'm just going to go for a Cynthia. Move that GX marker out of the way because I used it. But like I said, sorry if you're upset about the us just having him search for a Pokemon. I know that's not how it would have worked, but if he would have just draw past, we probably wouldn't have used this game anyway, and we would have to start another one. And so, just, yes, Timer Ball is an inconsistent card, but we're busy people in college, and we're just trying to keep playing and having a good time. So there's an Acrobike. I have 2 in my hand. This is just the first one. Deciding what I want to keep. It was a Lele and a Choice Band. A Choice Band's going to hit the bin. Play the second Acrobike. Lily's going to hit the bin. And then I'm going to play the Nest Ball. So, because I have the Tapu Lele in my hand, it was much easier to make that choice to save the Nest Ball instead of the Lele. Deciding what I want to do here. This is a Tapu Koko, and I'm going to move the energies off of that Shuckle so that I can just go ahead and get some damage off. And I'm going to use a Sky High Claws for 130 damage. So this deck powering out really quick, just some huge damage. And I think that Zeraora is definitely better than people are thinking about. So there he goes, Ultra Balling for a Lele to get that Cynthia. Gonna shuffle his hand into his deck and draw 6 cards. Off of this, just looking for some more Pokemon and definitely a Max Potion if he's able to do it. And a hand without a Max Potion, this is kind of really stinky for Nick. Rare Candy, some cards. Is that a Max Potion in the back of the hand? I couldn't tell. There's a Grovyle. So that's gonna be good. This is the solace if he's not able to get a Max Potion, at least he's going to be able to get another Sceptile out next turn. Get a Trico now, get a Sceptile the next turn, and he has that Rare Candy in his hand already. So, yeah, just looking through his hand, seeing what he wants to get. A lot of decisions in the Sceptile deck between what Pokemon you want to get off of Beacon, what Pokemon you want to get off of Grovyle's ability, what Pokemon you want to get off, or what items you want to get off of Ninetales. Pretty interesting. We haven't seen stuff like that in a while. Going to go ahead and get the Sceptile. Oh, because he had the Trico in his hand. That makes sense. Just one less thing that he has to search for on the next turn. And he's just going to use the Mach Cut attack for 60. Almost was so quick and he didn't do a motion that I just thought it was my turn. So I'm going to get Volkner and... No, I was considering Volkner. Decide against it. Or maybe I'm just going back in to see what targets I want. But no, I'm going to grab a Lily instead. Nope. I'm going to grab a Cynthia. So messing with everybody's hearts about what supporter card I'm going to get. Sorry if you can't see my bench right now. It's the Shuckle and the Vulpix. You can kind of see it every so often. Yeah, I'm going to move it because the camera, my laptop was behind me, so we were able to notice that glare was happening. So just try to be as active-minded about that as possible. And I knew that I'd be able to commentate with you guys and tell you all what was going on. So thank you guys for being alright with that and some possible game changes. I know that Timer Ball should hit double tails a certain percentage of the time, but we don't have that much time to play with that percentage of the time. Gonna put a counter game down and then use Sky High Claws or the knockout here. And I'm fine using that because he has to, he doesn't have a way to use Leaf Cycle in this turn, so he's not gonna be able to knock me out because he doesn't have 3 Stage 2s in play. Sends up the Grovyle instead because he has the Rare Candy. That's smart. And then here's another Copycat for a pretty good bit. Let's see what it is. If I would fan my hand out, I'd appreciate it. 6, it looked like. So another Copycat, or I guess just another Cynthia. It feels like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So he has the Life Force, but he has no damage on him, so he doesn't have any reason to play it down. Nest Ball is gonna help him out a lot. Gonna get that Ditto Prism, so it can turn into either an Alola Ninetales or a Grovyle later on. Probably the Ninetales. And then, did he whiff an energy? It looked like he did, so that's kind of a big bummer. Though the damage in the end wouldn't matter, but getting himself closer to using Leaf Cyclone does indeed matter. So I'm going to play a Kukui. So I am a Electro Power away from knocking out this Sceptile because of the Kukui and the Choice Band, and there it is. So that's going to be 230 damage, knocking out the Sceptile. And this might be a quick game because I'm already at 2 prizes and he has no energy on his board. And so a simple Guzma would end the game here. while we got a little bit, you can check out the new rare candy map that's being repped on my side. If you are a Patreon member, you can get the exclusive version that says Candy Crew, but I believe the normal version of this map that doesn't say anything is located on the site. But there's Cynthia drawing his 6 cards. Got a grass energy in there, so that's good. That's all he really wanted. And a max push, so he's going to be set up. Ultra Ball discarding a Elm and a rare candy. Doesn't really need that rare candy anymore. Looks like he's going to be getting that Alolan Ninetales, but he might just be banking it into his hand, knowing that he doesn't need it yet. Changes his mind, puts it back to his hand. Might be deciding on a Vulpix. Yeah, and he decides on the Vulpix. There's an attachment, and then another Mock-Up for 30. This Aether Paradise is messing him up. There's an Acrobite, gonna put the Electric Power into my hand, gonna discard a Counter Gain, and I have a Volkner, so because of the Electric Power in my hand, I can Volkner for the Electric Power and an Energy, and then because of the Choice Band I have on the active with the other Electric Power, that's gonna be doing 160 plus 90, which is gonna be enough for this knockout. So double Electric Power, and the Choice Band is going to be enough, doing 250 damage to this Sceptile, and then I win the series. This is actually not a matchup that I expected to win. I knew that I would have some one-shot potential, but I didn't realize that it would be as easy to kind of get that combo to happen between Ninetales and the Volkner. But thank you guys for sticking around and watching this best of 3. If you are interested in more content like this, definitely subscribe to our channel and check out our Patreon. We got a bunch of awesome benefits for you guys there. And also, I have an article coming up on the Alolan Ninetales GX card and some great ways to play it in the new standard environment. But thank you guys for watching this Testing Grounds video. This is Xander Bennett signing out.